Well, good morning. Today I want to revisit a topic I talked about almost a month ago, and that is perseverance. Another word is persistence or endurance. You may remember that I used this scripture in talking about fear just the other day. Psalm 37:23-24. A person's steps are established by the Lord, and he takes pleasure in his way. Though he falls, he will not be overwhelmed, because the Lord supports him with his hand. You know, a very important point when reading Scripture is what it says, but also what it does not say. I want you to notice here, it doesn't say a person's steps are established by the Lord and he takes pleasure in his way. He will not fall. He will not be overwhelmed because the Lord supports him with his hand. It also does not say, though he may fall, he will not be overwhelmed because the Lord supports him with his hand. No, this scripture says, though he falls. It's plain and simple in the Bible, friends. We will fall. But look at the men and women who have gone before us. If you did a study of the men and women that God has used mightily, I believe you'd find that this attribute, perseverance, is a common thread among them. They have been doggedly persistent in what they were called to do. The Apostle Paul persevered, even to the point of giving his life for the cause of Christ. His persistence will benefit all generations until the Lord returns. Consider Joseph. He could have hanged himself in prison after he was sold into slavery in Egypt and then falsely accused of attempted adultery, but he persevered and became second in command to Pharaoh. Likewise, David was determined not to give up in the face of adversity. God chose him to subdue Israel's enemies and clean up the camp, which he did until the end of his life. Remember the widow in Luke 18? Here, let me read it to you. Luke 18, 2-5. There was a judge in a certain town who didn't fear God or respect people. And a widow in that town kept coming to him, saying, "Give me justice against my adversary." For a while he was unwilling, but later he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or respect people, yet because this widow keeps pestering me, I will give her justice so that she doesn't wear me out by her persistent coming." The widow pestered the judge so much, she persisted in her cause, that he eventually did what she asked. Jesus used this parable to demonstrate that we should pray and not give up. And you know how we can tell that? Because it says it right there in verse 1. Now he told them a parable on the need for them to always pray and not give up. Persistence is an attitude that Christ desires in his followers. If you quit because things get difficult in your Christian walk, you might as well not even start, because if you serve the Lord, it will get tough. Paul wrote in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up." Now, I don't know how many of you are farmers or gardeners or have at least planted tomato or pepper plants or seeds for some vegetables, but let me tell you what it's like. You throw some seeds on the ground, you put some plants in, and tomorrow you have fresh vegetables. No, I hate to burst your bubble. That's not the way it works at all. First, you have to till the soil up. You have to break it up so it's easier for the seeds to sprout or the plants to take root, and that's a lot of work. Then you plant the seeds or plants and you wait. And while you're waiting, you have to make sure that the weeds don't take over and pests don't attack the plants. And all of that is work. And then, if the weather conditions are right and they get the proper amount of water and sunshine, after a while, you will reap a harvest at the proper time, as Paul says. So, brothers and sisters, continue to trust in the Lord. Don't get tired of doing good. Don't get weary of obeying God. Don't give up when you're faced with adversity. As James writes in chapter 1, verses 3 and 4, you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. And as Martin Luther said, they gave our Master a crown of thorns. Why do we hope for a crown of roses? Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, have a great day. Hope to see some of you in church tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Thank you.